And after a short delay, we're happy to bring you round 3 of Swiss of our July 2014 Worcester Manor League store tournament. Myself there on the left playing Chaos Theory, and Neil from Birmingham on the right playing Weyland, building a better world. That one, yes. Now, unfortunately, I've had a few problems, technical difficulties with my computer, hence a little bit of slow down in terms of activity on the website as well as on this channel. My computer's been on the fritz with power supply issues, and hopefully I have the problem solved now. I have actually tried to record this this round about 2 or 3 times, and I had my computer shut down on me each time without fail, so I'm optimistic this time that this will be the 3rd time's the charm, and hopefully be able to continue to bring you the rest of our casts, which is just as well as tomorrow is in fact our August 2014 Worcester Manor League tournament. So for those of you listening on Friday the 8th of July, which I imagine, sorry, Friday the 8th of August rather I should say, 2014, you should come along tomorrow, please do, but for the rest of us we'll continue on and watch now. I didn't mulligan, Neil did. I didn't mulligan primarily because I saw Plascreedom opening hand, though I didn't see any tutoring or a magnum opus, so this is going to be interesting to see how this turns out. Neil here having a pretty good start. He's going to take a credit in double ice. Didn't see a beanstalk or a hedge fund, but that's fine. Bottom line was I needed to see that opening Plascrete really, or at the very least have enough early doors aggression to not have to worry about an early scorched. Plascretes are not leaving my decks, folks, that's for sure. Those of you who are in a fortunate enough position where no one's running Scorched Earth, well, fair play to you. I did have I'd take it all back. I, in fact, did have a magnum opus, and in fact that was about as ideal a start as you could probably get in terms of sure gamble, and then modded out an opus, leaving me with 7 credits and an opus on the board. So he's in a difficult position already at this stage. If I have any kind of tutoring whatsoever, in the shape of self-modifying code, or in the shape of test run, he could be in all kinds of trouble. Certainly he must not be in a confident position to be able to set up any remote servers, and until that opening hostile takeover is scored, you don't have to worry about Archer too much, which is always a huge comfort. As soon as that opening hostile is scored though, suddenly the game changes. And Archers become a incredibly significant threat. He is going to place an ice there in, an upgrade in R&D, and take some more money, pass the turn. Looks like I've drawn up into a Fem, and there's an SMC, which I imagine I'll probably be installing early here. Looks like I've got a Mimic in hand as well, so I'm well tended for the sentries, which is what you want to see against Weyland, really. Just for archers and grims and so forth. And obviously with the new Upstalk pack, Taurus is one to be concerned about as well. One I'm expecting to see tomorrow, to be truthful. I'm going to play that SMC. And I would imagine here I'm probably contemplating putting in the Mimic in case of a surprise roto turret. But no, I'm going to play a clone chip. That really is a great start for me. I've now got the ability to tutor for 2 different programs, as well as click for credits to my heart's content. So I'm in a very fast, very strong position here, turn 2. And although I haven't applied any pressure to any of his centrals, I'm not too worried about that, to be honest. He's going to res and use Jackson Howard, usually indicating that he's probably agenda flooded a little bit there. Looks like he's definitely got an archer in hand. Can't quite make out the rest of his cards. I've got a parasite there by the looks of it. And unfortunately he's got shiny sleeves, which means there may be a little bit of glare off his cards, which I apologise for. Not much I can do about that, I'm afraid. It's either have it lit or, you know, unlit. He'll hedge fund and take some money. And so these are the kind of stages here where you're starting to concern yourself with Scorched Earth, and you have to respect the threat. There's no denying that. You have to respect the threat. I'm going to draw and see an Escher, which probably isn't going to help me hugely at this stage, given I haven't actually made him any res in the ice yet. I'm going to run the Jackson. He's not going to trigger, so I'll trash the 3. Might as well remove the option on the board. I'm going to take 2. And I'm going to play the Plascrete. Because I ran, I was skint, and I didn't want to leave myself in a horrible position there. As soon as you run, you've got to protect yourself. I don't know if he's running Scorched Earth in this deck, but you still have to respect the threat, in much the same way that you would never run with less than 3 cards on Jinteki, though as you've seen from my earlier cast, that may not always be the case. So the question is now, obviously, do you set up the remote server knowing that I can get in? I'm only on 2 credits, so he has the advantage there. But with that SMC on the board, any remote server is vulnerable that's only single iced, and obviously with the clone chip, potentially I could get in to a double ice server, though money is the limiting factor here at the moment. I probably need a turn of take 8 before I can start threatening centrals. Sorry, remotes rather. And I've got no huge desire to apply too much pressure to these centrals yet. As often is the case with Weyland, they're not great at scoring out. This is one of the reasons why I think people have started to shy away from them. They don't have a great plan B. Obviously dependent upon how the deck is built, but you know, your typical Scorched Earth decks, they don't have a great plan B, much the same way that the Jinteki sort of net damage decks have a similar issue. If they don't see the right cards in the right order, and if the runner doesn't, if the runner doesn't play their game, you can find yourself in a whole host of trouble. But I'm going to take 2. I'm going to run, so I make him res the ice at the very least. Looks like a Grim to me, despite the mirror-like sheen. Now, I have unfortunately left myself in a position here where I haven't got enough money to be able to break the Grim. So there's a fairy in the deck. It would cost me 2 to get out, and I'd only be able to get it to 4 strength rather than to 5. So unfortunately, there's very little I can do about that. Even with a fairy in the deck, I can't break it. So obviously I do get the bad pub to play with, but I don't get it until the end. He will trash my magnum opus. I will look at the Grindel Refinery and trash it. And losing the opus is going to be a bit of a tempo hit for me, particularly because I was on low credits and I'm now only on 2 credits and a bad pub. And so I will... oh, I'm not sure what I did there. I took 1, yeah. I think I went to take 2 and then realised, wait, nope, don't want to do that. But that's fine, I've got a clone chip out, so I can bring it out for 4 and a bad pub effectively if I make a run against Archive, so that's not too bad. Though again, it is still a big tempo hit here. What he has to concern himself with is the fact that, and again, that's the sensible thing to do, which is Grim can, you can just run through it without programs. I've got the SMC out, but other than that, I could just start putting remote pressure on, but I think this is the kind of stage here where I have to take my time and build up a little bit and not do anything too foolish, like I did there, running headlong into a Grim. Dinosaurus in hand as well. One of those cards that, in theory, on paper, it looks like a splendid card, but in practice, you never really find the time and the tempo to actually use it. So I will run on Archives. During that run, I'll use the clone chip to bring out the SMC, taking advantage of the bad publicity, and then I'll click the credits with Magnum Opus. So I take 4 and path the turn over. And he will score out the hostile takeover, which gives me another bad pub to play with, and obviously switches the archers on now at this stage. So I have to be very cautious now with program trashing. 4 credits certainly isn't enough, even with the 2 bad pub. And yeah, I do have to be careful here. So I've got a Parasite. I'm probably thinking about maybe popping off that Grim bit by bit. I'm going to play another clone chip, so I've got a lot of recursion on the board already. And having seen the power shutdown in his Archives, that's no bad thing. At the very least, it protects the the key cards. I'm discarding the Mimic there, which I guess isn't too surprising, given that if he's got Grims and Archers, the Mimic isn't going to help me too much. He will install, and advance, I think. No, just... oh, he's done something, I'm not sure what else. Maybe just took a credit there. So that server is looking pretty brutal already. I'm going to take 4. I'm going to run HQ. He will pay 3 to res a Wall of Static. So the question is here, do you go and fetch the Corroder? And I think probably the answer is yes, particularly because I get the discount with the bad publicity anyway. So I'll pay 2 and plus another 2, so 2 of the bad pub, 2 credits to bring out a Corroder, and then play another 2 credits to get through the Wall of Static. And now from this point on, effectively with the bad publicity, my runs on HQ are free. So now that's a good investment. All I have to do is pay to trash his assets, and that's fine. So I'll access a card in HQ, and hope here that he's preparing that remote because he's got a buttload of agendas. See a power shutdown, which is fine given I've got a clone chip out still, not too much of a problem. And I'll go again. So again, parry the bad pub, and I will access and see the power shutdown again. Because that's what I do on my HQ runs, I just look at the same card over and over again. R&D I usually get a bit more joy and a bit more luck, but no, unfortunately, as it happens, my HQ runs, I just seem to gravitate towards the same cards. I probably should start rolling dice, to be truthful, but yeah. Then I feel like the dice will screw me over, and I have something to blame other than myself, which I'm not sure is necessarily the best thing. Anyway, I'm rambling. So, it's still only 1 point to 0. I haven't scored any agendas yet, but I have a good position here. So now we're getting to crunch time. He's got an upgrade in there. He's installed Advance. I've got no idea what that upgrade could be, and it could be anything at this stage. Unlikely to be Sansan, I think it's safe to say, but that could be a 3-pointer. That could be a refinery. It could be anything. So, sorry, geothermal fracking, rather, I should say, which will give him a lot of money. So I'm going to take 4. I'm going to run the remote, and I'm just cautious here of the Grim and the Archer. No res. I will continue, and he will res a Hadrian's Wall, I believe. I think. Stupid shiny cards. Why can't everyone play with, anti-glare cards? Inconsiderate bastards. Not really, by the way, Neil. I love you. You know that. Neil's always somewhat reticent about playing me on camera because he always seems to end up having a rough round. I mean, as those of you who watched the previous casts from our Kronos Tour coverage actually will probably remember, I was actually the only soul, and obviously I'll make a point of reminding everyone, the only soul to take a game off him in the Stoke Kronos Tour event, and obviously went on to go and win that quite comfortably, having only dropped 1 game all day. Looks like I'm cracking the Mimic. I'm not sure if that's because I'm breaking anything or whether I just want to bring it out. I think it may be I'm just taking advantage of the bad publicity and bringing out the Mimic with the clone chip, and then I'm parasiting the Grim. There's a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, first of all, it brings within Mimic range eventually in my next turn, or in 2 turns' time. He will score a Project Atlas overscores with 1 counter, but also it's protection for my Corroder from power shutdown, and that's something I'm very cautious and very aware of. So he has got an overscored Atlas now. Double Scorch becomes an issue, though I haven't seen any kind of indication that is on the cards. So that's fine. I'm going to play a mem chip down just so that I've got a little bit of wiggle room, and I'm going to take some money. And again, here I've got the opportunity really just to build up and wait for him to try and install into that remote again. Neil's also again a great player, and we had a very good turnout for the event. And I thought myself somewhat unfortunate to be playing him, but again, my record obviously at this stage was undefeated, so you're going to have to take what you take. So he's just taking money. He is poor as it stands, so he probably would have killed for a geothermal fracking there at this point, taking lots of money and giving me lots of bad pub, particularly because my rig is starting to assemble quite nicely now. And he's on 3 points, so with an Atlas token, which could be used to bring out a hostile, so effectively he's on 4 points, if you want to look at it like that. He just needs to score another 2-pointer, or 3-pointer rather, I should say, and he's probably got the game. Seeing that power shut down again, because again, who can really argue with seeing the same card over and over again? In fact, let's do it again, because, why wouldn't I? Hey! Corporate War. So, I will take that, thank you very much. And see a Corporate Troubleshooter, which I will definitely trash. So, having seen the Corporate Troubleshooter now, that's made me even more cautious around his servers. That's one of those important cards that you want to see off R&D before you decide to do anything else. Seeing the Ice Wall, so I've seen at least 2 of those cards now in HQ. I'm not particularly concerned with R&D at this stage. He's still kind of in a position here where he has to put something down, advance it, and try and score it. And I'm feeling alright about that, particularly because, again, I've got that Parasite now on the Grim. I'm not going to worry too much about R&D, especially now that he's got that that upgrade, which could very well be another Corporate Troubleshooter. If that's an Archer there on R&D, which it could very well be, suddenly I'm in all kinds of problems. I'm just going to take 8 and pass the turn. I'm just getting ready now for him to try and install into that remote server and go in and take whatever he puts down. And every time in between, I'll go in and look at his hand. Every time he draws up a few new cards, I will go in and access every card I possibly can in HQ. I've got no multi-access for HQ, and it's one of the things that when everyone looks at the deck, they notice as being missing. I do have a sneak door, obviously, which in many respects does the same thing, though not quite to the same extent when like you've got an open HQ like you do here. But you know, obviously a nerve agent would be lovely. Something like a tutor 4 in this deck, which is what this deck is built around. But again, finding that 2 influence is not easy. Not easy. And I would wonder if it would probably be more pertinent to have a second parasite anyway. Remote pressure is more important, even against astrobiotic decks in many respects. They gotta get that Astro scored. And again, one of the benefits of this deck is that it can set up quickly, but at the same time it can also deal with slightly more taxing ice, dealing with bigger ice setups. I don't think there's a Hadrian's there on wherever it is. I can't remember what it is, to be honest. It's a shame I can't quite make out what that second piece of ice is. I've got a keyhole in hand there, so it's an option. He's only got 1 piece of ice. I'll probably certainly leave it in hand, just in case I do decide to go in and start pressuring R&D. Looks like he's just going to take some money though. Wants to have a look at my my archives, which is fine. I've got so that Grim is not long for this world. I've got another mem chip in hand. I'm going to play it. Taking me to a healthy 7 memory, so I've got enough room now for another SMC, which I could bring out with a clone chip potentially. And obviously once that parasite goes, I've got even more memory to play with. But now that's the important thing, I can actually afford another 2 mem program. The card I'm playing with a lot at the moment in my Chaos Theory deck is Leprechaun. And that's sorry about my feeble attempt there at some Irish lilt. But it's a very strong card in this deck. It's not something I would ever think, even dream or consider putting a magnum opus on, but at the same time I most certainly would look at late game putting on something like a sneak door, putting on a keyhole with a breaker, getting at least 3 MU out of it, even though you could get 4. It's unlikely that I'd ever need 4, but 3 memory for 1, getting a 2 memory reduction is strong, and I've been quite happy with how it's been performing. Hopefully I'll have some coverage. I'm still planning on taking my Latchkey Kid deck somewhat amended, somewhat altered tomorrow, and hopefully it'll do alright. It certainly did okay here. It's been struggling a lot recently against taxing decks, but more on that later. Got a Scavenge in hand, which isn't too shabby. I always forget that Scavengers also can install the cards from hand as well. Something I need to try and endeavour to remember. I'll draw. Looks like I've seen a Tetrun there, so that's nice. Another Magnum Opus, not so nice. And I'll take another 4 credits. And I can afford to wait here because I'm waiting for the Parasite to build up, so I can go in and install. He purged virus counters, which I think is probably a misplay here because he couldn't take advantage of it. You know, if he installs into that remote server now, my Mimic still is in a position to be able to actually break through and get into that server. So I think purging virus counters here was a misplay. He probably should have just let the Grim go as a bit of a lost cause. I've ditched the Fem primarily so I can bring it out with test run, which, as I've already said, I have in hand. Neil will play a restructure, gaining him 5. And is in a solid financial position, and with the Jackson Howard there, is able to draw for what he needs. So I'll, at this point, spend this time running HQ and make sure no little cheeky agendas have snuck their way into his hand. If they have, I'll take them. So power shutdown there again. Got to be careful, we can power shut down those mem chips. No problem now. I'll go again, I want to make sure I've seen every card. Oh, and there was an agenda in there, so it's a good job I kept running. And this is I want now to just put the pressure on his hand. With the Jackson Howard out, I'm not too worried about attacking R&D heavily, but every time an agenda touches his hand, I want him to feel under threat. I want him to feel like he has to start installing them. Because his remotes aren't safe either. So taking me to 4 points now to, I think 5 points? 4 points, 5? Yeah, he scored, I think, yeah, he scored 2 hostiles, hasn't he? So he's at 4 points, I'm at 4 points. He just, I think, spent the whole turn there making money. So, that's fine. So I will attack HQ. It's free for me, I might as well. He's drawn up a lot of cards. See that power shutdown again. He's probably got 2 in hand. I know he's got 1 in archives. Unless he put it back in with the Jackson now. No, I trashed the Jackson. So I've seen an ice wall, a wall of static, and a power shutdown. I think there's still 1 card there. I'm not sure what it is. But I'm not going to worry about it too much here at this point. I think I'm just going to take some money, which is what I do. Because I may as well. Increase my own financial advantage and just wait for him to start drawing agendas up in hand. Bit of a slow game. Again, I've got no desire really to attack R&D there. He is going to power shut down for 1, so I'll lose a mem chip, but it doesn't prevent me from. It doesn't mean I have to trash anything at this stage, so that's not too bad. Otherwise, I'd have to probably let the mimic go. To be honest, I'm thinking of trashing it anyway. He's going to use his Jackson Howard now at this stage and put 3 face down cards in. Again, the right way round of doing it, so he probably milled an agenda there. And he wants now at this stage to get something, not sure what. Certainly I'm not expecting Scorched Earth here anymore. I haven't seen any indication of anything Scorchy related, and I've certainly ran his hand enough now to not have to worry about it. But the Plascrete's there, just in case Cheeky Punitive or Cheeky Scorch is going to install. I think he's still got a click left, yep, so he's going to advance and pass the turn over to me. And he's going to res the corporate troubleshooter now, which is a surprise. Again, I kind of feel like he would have been better off waiting there, really. Oh yeah, I'm surprised to see him. Oh, it's a roto turret there on the middle. Haha, huzzah! So yeah, I'm surprised that he's done that. But as a result now, the roto turret is at absolutely obscene strength. He's done the maths, and I'm pretty sure I can't get in there. So he's just using it as an opportunity now to go in and end the run. I don't know why he did it earlier rather than later. Like, again, he would have been better off not bothering. So that's fine, I'm going to just fem the roto turret, and he will run. And he will res Inazuma, which is absolutely brilliant. So a great play on his part there. I thought, okay, yeah, that's fine. You can bump as much strength into that roto turret as you possibly want. I'll just bypass it for 2. And no, as it happens, I am now in a position where I have to get hit by the roto turret. So yeah, that wasn't quite as cunning as it probably could have been on my part there. So a great splash, the Inazuma again, and certainly I wasn't expecting that. And suddenly again he looks like, you know, the corporate troubleshooter advanced res thing, you know, in advance isn't a bad play at all in the slightest. You know, that looks very strong. So he will trash the Corroder, which is fine. I'm not too worried about that. And oh, what happened there? Why did he let me have that then? Oh. Okay. I think I still had the money to go in and take it, I guess? Not sure. I guess he didn't pump it to quite the degree where I couldn't get through it. So I guess I was able to still get through. I'm not sure there, but either way, I took the agenda that was sitting there for taking me to 6 points. and I'm bypassing the Inazuma instead. I think I scavenged the Fem, and instead of bypassing that, would make sense. I can now get through for just a few credits. The Grim is not long for this world, and so that's all fine. It saves me having to go and get a code gate breaker. And again, I'm just thinking here, he must not have bumped the strength of the rotor turret enough to actually stop me. Well, no, again, he had the Inazuma. I don't know how I went and took that agenda there. I'm really not sure how I took that agenda. Yeah, pass. Answers on a postcard, please. The rotor turret should have ended the run, surely. Not sure why he just flipped that over and gave it to me. I mean, again, I could have obviously gotten in and got it there, I think, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how that suddenly appeared in my scoring pile rather than his. Obviously, getting through the Grim wasn't a problem, but unless yeah, oh, I don't know. I really don't know. No idea how that happened. So anyway, he looks like he's taking some money, and the Grim passes away. Oh, sorry, he's trashing it to install another piece of ice, and I don't think he's going to install anything in it yet. So that's fine. I will draw first click, see the Gordian Blade. Draw second click, I think seeing another test run. I'm going to scavenge the Mimic and bring back out the Corroder. Again, another fantastic use there for scavenge. Great way of recurring. So I've now got a decent sentry breaker, and I've still got the barrier breaker out. So I think, you know, just in case he installed that ice wall there on the remote server, and it also means now I can keep going in and checking HQ, which is, you know, the whole point of the idea there. And I've still got a memory spare, 2 memory spare. And there's one of them, Gordian Blade. So I will pay for that the hard way. And I've got a lovely full breaker suite with a Magnum Opus out now, so that's good. That's good news. Very good news indeed. And I've still got a memory spare to be able to zip Parasite around as well, so that's not too shabby either. That rotor turret obviously looking an especially tempting target with Inazuma in front of it. So Neil is in a hard play situation here, because he knows I'm running his hand. I've got the ability to get into any server. He can take as much money as he wants, but he's still going to have to score out somehow. He needs to score another agenda, even with the overscored Atlas. So he's just taking cash, and that's kind of biding his time here. So again, I'm going to do what I've always done and just run HQ. See a wall of static. I'll go again. Probably see a wall of static. No, a Jackson Howard, which I'll trash for 1 bad pup and 2 credits. And just to limit his hand options, I'll draw, seeing a Diesel, and I will take 2 credits with Magnum Opus and pass the turn back over. It looks like he's drawn up into a beanstalk, got 2 pieces of ice there in hand, no agendas. I'm not expecting him to have agendas, I just want to put the pressure on him. Turn the screw. I've got no interest in R&D here. I'm more than happy just to wait. More than happy just to wait. I only need 1 more point to win, 1 more agenda, and thank you very much. He will beanstalk. And so obviously he's again now in a situation where he cannot possibly risk drawing up either. So I'll run and see the ice wall. So I know he's got an ice wall and a wall of static in hand. So I'll take 6, because I've got nothing else to do either. So as long as I know what every card in HQ is, I can stop running HQ, and I can start taking lots of money instead, and wait for him to install into that remote server, which is lovely. So he will draw. He will draw again. So lots of lovely new cards to go in there and access potentially. It looks like he's got a wraparound, which isn't going to do much good at this stage. I think he's just got a whole hand of ice there by the looks of it, but I could be wrong. He's going to trash a piece of ice, install for 2, I don't know why he'd bother trashing it. He's got so much money at this point anyway, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference. Not like he's ever going to be poor particularly. But I still have to be concerned a little bit here about the archer. Obviously Fem I can use to get past it, but it's not ideal. So Ice Wall I've already seen, so I'll go in and access again. And I will see the refinery, which I'll trash. Just limit the options he has in installing into that remote. See the ice wall again. So I will go in again, I guess, and have another look. Try and see the new cards. See the wraparound. Perfect. So I know now. I'm pretty sure I've checked every card in HQ, and let him draw up again. And just wait for him to install. He's going to draw. Both in a very solid financial position. But can he actually put anything down in that server? I've got a full hand. I'm not worried about Scorched Earth anymore. So he is going to install and take some money. That's fine. I'll go and check HQ. Thank you very much. See Beanstalk royalties. So it's a new card at the very least. And I'm just going to take 6 and pass the turn. I'm surprised I didn't go in more aggressively there. I probably should have kept going. He had new cards, I'm fairly sure. Although he probably drew. Did he draw 3 in that turn? Obviously one of those could be a piece of ice. I'm not sure. I probably should have been a bit more aggressive against the HQ there. At least checked it another 2 times. Leave myself enough time to take 2. Though again, I'm realising here there's a good chance that I'm going to have to break an archer with Fem on that remote server. So if he does put something down, I need to be able to break through an archer to get in there. Although I'm pretty sure I've got plenty of money to be able to do that. So he is installing into it. He is also using his Atlas token at this stage now to go and search for a card, and I'm fairly sure it was a corporate troubleshooter. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was a corporate troubleshooter that he put in. Which he will install. So I know what it is. So there's certainly no surprise factor with it in your Beanstalk royalties. And so now I'm doing the maths. I'm doing the maths and looking, going, okay, is he actually in a position here to be able to stop me from getting into the remote server? And in all likelihood, the answer is probably yes. With that corporate troubleshooter, it will cost him all his money, or certainly near enough all his money. But I suspect he's in a position now to keep me out, and probably a very good use of the Atlas token. So I will diesel. Which I don't know why I did, to be honest. I think that's a misplay as well. I don't need cards here. I just need to... Although, again, I've got Escher in hand, so I mean, a really good play here would just be to shuffle some ice around. Move that wall of static, and put it on the remote. Move the Inazuma to the back, to the innermost piece of ice, and then suddenly I could easily skip past all the opportunity he has to bump anything up. Well, I guess he could still keep me out, but I don't know. It's a tough one. I think, yeah, not sure there. Not sure. I'll sure gamble. Just do a little bit of click compression. Save me a bit of money. I'll take another 2. And again, having done them, I'm pretty sure here I've already decided I can't get in, but I'm going to take as much money as I possibly can, so that he has to spend all of his money keeping me out. That's the idea here. So he will res... Not sure, he's thinking about it, giving it some thought. Looks like it's 4. Is it going to be the big kahuna at long last? Are we going to see Monsieur Archer? I think he's doing the maths as well here. And he's just making sure it's actually worth it. Giving up the hostile takeover, though, actually puts him in a position where he still has to score another agenda. And assuming he's got even another hostile in the deck, so he's not going to res. He's going to move on to this piece of ice. And he will res that one. And that is, in fact, another Grim, which he'll use Corporate Troubleshooter for. So again, I guess here that he's looking to... Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. It means he saves having to sacrifice a hostile takeover. So rather than resing the Archer, he'll res the Grim instead, which gives him the opportunity to still win out with an extra hostile, if he has another hostile in the deck. So if he has 3, it means that's the last card he needs to find to win the game. And there could very well be 3 in the deck. So he's now going to bump up the Grim to something obscene. I'm not going to bother counting it up. But enough to be able to keep me out. I think I spend a minute or so here just checking that he's done his maths right. I shouldn't take it on his say-so. And obviously his target to trash is going to be the probably be the Fem. And although I could still break the Inazuma, I couldn't get through the Roto turret. Though it doesn't really matter which one he chooses to do, to be fair. Oh, it does indeed, because I can break it with the Fierce. Yeah, he'll trash the Fem. I'm just doing a quick bit of maths, just to make sure that I can't get in. And I come to the conclusion, eventually, folks, not to ruin the surprise or anything, that I can't, and that he, has indeed done his maths correct. But there's no point not trying and stretching the sinews of my mind. Maths not my strong suit, needless to say. But it does mean now that this game will be very tentatively placed. So he will trash the Fem with the Grim, unsurprisingly. I still get all my money, pass the turn over to him. That was my last click. He will score out whatever that is there in the remote, I'm assuming. Probably another Project Atlas. Oh, he's not going to score. Oh, he is going to. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's triple advance. So it isn't, in fact. It could, in fact, be a 3-pointer. In which case, I've got a bit of time. Again, I was probably under the assumption there that it was a Project Atlas. But now I really have to go in and get there, whatever it is. And I have to get it now, because if it's a 3-pointer, that's the end of the game. But I've got the test run in hand, so I'm able to bring the Fem back out onto the board. I can bypass. It doesn't really make too much difference, but certainly the Grim probably will work out to be the cheapest. It doesn't really make too much difference, to be honest. I've got a stupid amount of money there. I've got 4 bad pub to use. Second click I'm going to run, because I've got enough money and enough time. He's not going to res. I'll bypass for 1 with the bad pub. I'll break the Inazuma with the Gordon Blade. I'll break the Roto turret, and I will access government contracts and take the game. So again, difficult there. I've seen the 3-pointer in the remote. If it was an Atlas, he probably would have been happier there just to score it out and carry on. But he had to go for the win. I think that was probably his only viable play. It was a very entertaining game, even if it was incredibly close. I was very pleased to see all my recursion quite early on, especially against the power shutdown deck, and you could see how dangerous R&D was going to be there, so it's wise that I probably didn't run it. So that is, in fact, the end of Game 1, Round 3. Please join us for Game 2 shortly.